Hey everyone, so glad you're here. Think of me as your study buddy for this. We are going to look at these super long, complicated taxonomy lists not as something to be scared of, but as a secret code. And trust me, by the end of this, you are going to have the key to cracking.
Yeah, I get it. You've got that big biology practical coming up. You're looking at lists of names like Obelia geniculata, Fasciola hepatica, and your brain just kind of shuts down, right? It feels impossible. But look, that's a classic problem, and we're about to make it disappear.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll face the problem head on. Then I'll show you this awesome method to totally conquer it. We'll use it on some animals, then some protists, and we'll finish up with a can't-fail strategy to absolutely ace your lab practical. Let's do this.
Okay, first things first. Let's just admit what we're up against. I call it the wall of words. It's that giant, scary list of Latin names that looks totally random and stands between you and a great grade. And here it is, the full classification for Obelia geniculata. Just look at that. Kingdom, phylum, subphylum, class, subclass, it just keeps going. I mean, trying to memorize this by just reading it over and over, that is a one-way ticket to frustration. But here's the thing, you probably don't even need every single one of those subranks. We're going to focus on a much smarter way to learn the important ones.
So, how are we going to tear down that wall? We're going to use a secret weapon, the layered mnemonic method. And this isn't about just mindlessly repeating things, it's about actually understanding why the names are what they are. It's a two-part trick that turns that wall of words into a story that you can actually remember.
And it's so simple. Step 1, we make up a memorable story sentence. Step 2, we use what I call root logic to figure out what the names actually mean. Let's break down how each of those works.
So a story sentence is really just a silly, catchy little phrase that acts like a ladder for your brain. The first letter of every single word in your sentence lines up perfectly with the first letter of each level of classification. It works because our brains are just way better at remembering stories and images than they are at remembering a random list of letters.
And this is the real magic. Root logic is where we basically become word detectives. We take these big, intimidating Latin and Greek names, we crack them open, and we find out they're just describing the creature. Once you know what the words mean, they're not random anymore. They're clues.
All right, you ready to put this into action? Let's start by decoding 3 organisms from the animal kingdom that you are definitely going to see in your lab.
Remember that crazy list for Obelia? Let's just simplify it. Forget all those subranks. Instead, just remember this one sentence for the main levels. All cnidarians make honest little lamps producing clean optimal glow. See? Each word gives you the first letter for the main ranks, and it's in the perfect order. So much easier, right?
Okay, now for part 2, the root logic. Let's decode this. The phylum, Cnidaria, starts with a silent C, just like the sea where it lives. Simple. The class Hydrozoa is easy. Hydro just means water. And the family Campanulariidae, it kind of sounds like campanile, which is an old word for a bell tower, which is perfect for an animal with these tiny bell-shaped parts. Oh, and for the lab, just remember this. The hydrant is for being hungry, and the gonangium is for generating babies. Easy.
Okay, next up, the liver fluke, Fasciola hepatica. It's a parasite, and you guessed it, it's got another long classification. So what's our sentence? All platyhelminths try digging every ditch for fat hosts. You know, it paints a pretty weird picture, but honestly, that just makes it even easier to remember.
You see how the names are literally telling you a story? Its phylum, Platyhelminthes, just means flat worm. Platy is like a plate, and helminth is worm. The species name, Hepatitica, sounds a lot like hepatitis, and that's because this thing loves to attack the liver. And the class, Digenia, well, di means two, and genia means generation. That's because it needs 2 different hosts, a snail and a sheep, to live its life. And for your lab practical, the oral sucker is for eating, and the ventral sucker acts like Velcro to stick on tight.
Let's knock out one more animal, the pork tapeworm, Taenia solium. Another parasite, another list. Our memory trick is animals play chess carefully to trap swine. And having the word swine right at the end is a perfect little reminder that we're talking about the pork tapeworm.
Let's decode its biology from the names. The class, Cestota, is just Latin for belt or ribbon, and that's exactly what a tapeworm looks like, right? The order, Cyclophilidae, starts with cyclo, like circle or round, for the round suckers on its head, and the species name, Solium, always makes me think of solo, because it's often just one long, single worm living inside its host.
For the anatomy part, just remember the S. scolex is its skull, and the proglottids are the projecting segments full of eggs.
You see how that works? It's not just random facts, it's a system. And to prove how powerful this is, we're going to switch kingdoms entirely and use the exact same method on the protists. It works every single time.
Okay, let's start with Euglena. Our story sentence is, protists eat every engineered energy element. And here's a cool shortcut. Most of the ranks start with Euglena, so the sentence just helps you remember the order of the different endings. For the lab, its main feature is the stigma. Just think of it as its sun-seeker eye spot. Now, over to Paramecium. The sentence is, protists can count pennies precisely per cent. Let's use root logic on its phylum, Ciliophora. That literally means hair-bearer, which is perfect since the whole thing is covered in tiny hairs called cilia. And that contractile vacuole, it works like a tiny construction pump, always pushing extra water out.
Okay, so you've learned the names. Now for the most critical part. How to use this to get a perfect score on the practical. When you're looking through that microscope, you've got to be fast and you've got to be sure. And for that, we use the one-feature rule.
Think of this as your exam day cheat sheet. Don't get bogged down trying to see every little detail. Just look for one single defining feature. If you see something shaped like a slipper, boom, it's Paramecium. If it looks like a leaf, that's Fasciola. See a long ribbon with a head full of hooks? You found the scolex of Taenia. If it's a delicate branching bush, you're looking at an Obelia colony. And if you see a tiny green torpedo with a tail whipping around, that's Euglena. One feature, one ID, it really is that simple.
And there you have it, the layered mnemonic method. This isn't just about passing a biology test. It's a whole new way of learning that turns boring memorization into a fun puzzle you can actually solve. You've gone from staring at a wall of words to having a whole set of stories and clues. So the real question isn't about biology anymore. It's, what other tough subject are you going to totally master with this method?